we have the pleasure to have with us Evert Karsen, who is the CPO of Simpress. Thank you very much, Evert, for being with us.
Always a pleasure.
First of all, I would like if you could introduce very briefly your organization.
So Simpress is a company. This name probably you have not heard. It's the corporate name of a company that owns more than 15 different brands. The one you may have heard is Vistaprint, and in Italy you may have heard about Pixar Printing, which is Italian. So these brands, these 15 brands, what they do, as the name suggests, we are in the printing business, but not only printing paper. We don't even call it printing. We call it decorating. We decorate all kinds of products. So it can be textile, it can be towels, bags, of course, paper, posters, photo albums, books. So anything that is decorated. So that is the business we're in. It's a global company. Most of the sales are in Europe and North America. And as I said, we operate under these 15 different brands. Another interesting thing is to know that more than 90% of the sales are online. So this gives some advantages and disadvantages, but we don't have a sales organization that visits customers. It's all done online. So, and we will come back to this later, I think, Paolo, on the AI topic. So really, it is very connected to understanding your customers without never meeting them. And last thing, maybe for this introduction of my organization, is that very different to most companies, procurement is a service, and this, when we started with this, I'm by the way, I haven't introduced myself. I am 10 years with the company now. I just made 10 years last month in May, and but most of my career I have been in procurement, and 10 years in Simpress. So I was saying the procurement organization functions as a service, meaning that these 15 businesses, it's not mandatory that they come to us when they need to buy something. They can come to us, but they don't have to come to us. So in other words, we need to be better than them. We need to know more, and then they will come to us. It sounds a bit strange because you would think, why do this? But it really puts a lot of emphasis on the fact that the procurement organization needs to be really good. We need to be very well prepared, and we need to, we have a very good track record of very good results, very good contracts, and then people will come to us because we know better than them. It's at the beginning it took a while, but now it functions really well, and we have it's a very very professional procurement organization, and it functions really well. But maybe you have some questions about this later. I'm happy to answer. Sorry.
Definitely. The question is about how do you see the role? You already have introduced the role of procurement in terms of a function, a service that bring value to the overall organization of the company.
So different companies, the value of procured goods has different weight. In our company, it's around 60% of the revenue, so it's very high. So yes, the impact of doing having good contracts with competitive prices, but especially, prices is a bit of an old concept, right? It's really very good TCO, and we can talk about that a bit later. Has a very high impact. Very interesting. As I said before, different companies, the value of the goods purchased has different weight, but in ours, It's a bit unusual. So raw materials, which usually is the largest, is relatively low. It's only 20%. And the other 40%, 20 plus 40 is the 60% I was talking about, is really all the services that that we provide. So services and CapEx that we provide to our customers. For example, because we are an online company, logistics has a very high weight. We ship individual, I mean, you all have used Amazon, so we ship individual boxes with products to our customers. So this has a very high weight in our procurement, spend. And also because it's an online company, all the cloud services, all the software services have also a very high weight. So give or take, it's 20% raw materials, 20%, 15 to 20% logistics, 15 to 20% is software and cloud services, and 10% is CapEx. That's more or less the weight distribution.
What I think is very interesting of the organization you described is that, in a certain sense, is a solution to the fight between the people who are in charge of a profit and loss of an organization, a brand, or a country, and a centralized procurement function. No? Because if I am the CEO of a country, I don't want to have a centralized function that interfere with my activity, such important part of my activity, which is the procurement. No, in this way, a single CEO of a business unit, let's say of a company, they can buy directly, but after they have to demonstrate that they have done better of what are the centralized contracts. So it's really always a competition between you, what you are able to offer, and the different brands or business units that have totally autonomy in running their business. Okay. And now I know that you have really in this year introduced a very deep transformation of the function, and that you have used one of the dimension, which is the digital dimension, very heavily in this transformation. Could you tell us about the use of digitalization? And after we will move to the artificial intelligence, which is the new wave. But at least at the beginning, what have you done in terms of introducing heavily digital tools, making a strong dimension in the transformation of your function?
Well, it's very broad. So first, as I said before, we have these 15 plus brands. In reality, these companies have been acquired over the years by Cimpress, and was decided that there would not be one common central SAP or something like that to run the business. So each of these companies continues to have the ERP system, the operation system, the software for programming production, placing orders, paying the invoices, etc., that they had before they were acquired. Well, some of them have replaced them, but they're different systems, and even they call so the name of the suppliers, the name of the products are different. I mean, I think you have all seen this. If you have a business in the US and a business in Germany and a business in Italy, I'm sure you have seen that this happens, even in SAP. Well, with us, it's systemic. The different businesses have different ERPs and they call things different. I mean, sometimes the name is in German, the name is in English, the name is in Italian, etc. So what we have is for procurement, we have a tool. It's a database that every month extracts all the procurement transactions, all the purchase orders, all the goods receipt, all the prices, payment terms, I mean, everything from these 15 businesses, and we have it in one place. And when every time there is a new product, a new raw material, a new something, this gets mapped, and we see, we have a common name, so we know what it is. It may have a different name in Italy or in Germany, but we know it's the same thing. So this is one very important tool that we use. That's the heart, if you want, of the of the procurement intelligence. But other than that, I mean, we provide a huge amount of services. I mean, I had a slide, but maybe I can read it loud. So, I mean, there is business intelligence tools, about the market, about competitors. I mean, these are services that, remember, some of it we buy as a global procurement organization, and some of it the businesses buy that on their own, but they use the tools that we offer them, right? The intelligence tools that we offer them. So we offer market intelligence. We offer, for example, it's a long list. So, for example, one of the tools that we also have is for CapEx. Of course, we are a printing company, so we have hundreds of printing machines. Don't think of the printing machine that you have at home. These are printing machines that are as big as a room, and that use, that go at speeds of 250 meters of roll paper per minute. Okay, so these are machines that go extremely fast. If you have not seen it, go to YouTube, try to find it's called web-fed printing, for example. These machines go 250 meters per minute. It's humongous. So all these machines in different countries are from some are the same supplier, some are different suppliers. So it's a database of these machines. We provide information of what these machines, not only when they were purchased, what they cost, how efficient they are, but also what products they make, what types of paper they can produce. So all this information we offer to the businesses and to these 15 businesses, that they can make their decisions if they want to invest. And of course, they come to us to ask, what is your advice? That is, these are the kind of tools that we provide, that, to attract them to our intelligence. We have training programs. We have all kinds of logistics management tools. I mean, it's a very, very long list of software applications that we provide from procurement, and everything related to understanding our suppliers, to understanding the costs, to comparing, training, procurement, etc., etc.
And now let's go to a very hot topic, which is artificial intelligence. What is your vision? Is it reality or is still a dream, artificial intelligence? Tell us what you have done and what you plan to do, if it is possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a reality. I think, for us, it's a reality that we are using intensively. I mean, and it's going very, very fast. The growth of this. I know speaking with friends, etc. Some companies are afraid. There are a lot of rules, a lot of the central functions. They have many limitations on using IT. In our company, it's different. We embrace it also because I think we are a software-driven company. I mean, as I said, all our sales are online. So AI is a tool that allows us to simplify many things. I mean, the list is very long, but for example, in procurement, let's use some procurement examples, right? Today, well, let me say it different. Yesterday or years ago, when you do a tender, okay, one of our obsessions as buyers was to send a form. So you say, dear supplier, you have to fill out this form and you have to answer exactly these questions, because for us as a buyer, it was very difficult to compare two offers, right? And suppliers, they always try to send you, you send a tender document, the supplier answers with things that are not there. So it's very difficult to compare offers. We know that it's like that. Today, you take the offer, 5 different offers, 10 different offers, you put it in AI, you press a button, and literally in 30 seconds, you have a comparison in a table. It tells you what the pros and the cons are, what the risk factors are, where one supplier is better. And you can ask, and please check the market, check you know, how big a supplier is. So it's not only the offers, it gets information from the market about, you know, how this supplier is behaving, if the supplier has legal cases. I mean, you can make it as complicated as you want, but I mean, it's very easy to compare offers. Another one, let's say, I mean, I'll try to keep it short, but another one. Once you have decided your supplier, I mean, in the past, all companies, I'm sure yours too, you try to have a corporate contract. So you send the corporate contract. Well, what happened in the past was you send the corporate contract, the lawyers on the other side from the supplier, they start complaining, oh, this clause, I don't agree, this. So you spend 2 months, 3 months discussing the contract and the clauses, and they go back. I mean, you're Italian, maybe not so much in Italy, but I mean, I'm in the US company. US companies, lawyers they have no end, right? I mean, they can discuss forever. So this took very long. Now you put the contract in through the AI tools, and I will talk about the AI tools in a moment, because, you know, don't think of ChatGPT that is for free. This is a bit more complicated than that. So you have your corporate AI tool that has to be managed centrally. Definitely not the free one that you get on Google. You know, this is not the one we are using. And then the contracts can be evaluated, the risk factors can be evaluated, and then it makes it much easier. You can decide, you know, if you accept those risks, or if you really need a lawyer involved to resolve a problem, if that's the case, right? But it goes even further. I mean, as I said before, we have our central database, where we have all our purchase orders, prices, etc. You can say, you can run every month, and you can check if you are paying the prices of the contract. And believe it or not, this generates huge savings, especially in some categories, like, for example, logistics. It generates huge savings. I mean, especially if you are like us, where logistics has a very high weight, because I mean, not to go into a lot of detail, but by the way, Paolo, cut me off if I'm talking too much. But for example, logistics, you have, I mean, if you're sending packages like Amazon to customers in many countries, what determines the price of a package is the weight, the destination, if it's an urgent or a normal package. There's a lot of combinations, right? So if you're shipping all over Europe, I mean, this is very complicated to check. You get logistics invoices that are 50, 100 pages long, which nobody can look at. Well, with AI, you can check this invoice in 1 minute, and you will know if there are mistakes. And there are many mistakes. And usually the mistakes, I don't know why, but they're always against us. They're never, against the supplier. They're always against us. Well, and I mean, there is customer service opportunities. I mean, there are even HR. I don't know if you are in hiring people. I mean, if you are procurement managers and you're hiring people, I mean, in the past, you need to read the CV and the other CV, and sometimes one CV has a nicer picture, and you say, this person looks really nice, looks intelligent. This one looks a bit dumb, but I'm exaggerating, but it is very difficult to really make a judgment, especially if you're not, if you don't talk with this person, and you get 100 CVs for a job. It's very difficult. Now you can submit these names. AI can go in LinkedIn, look at the profiles, look at the history, look if this person has published articles, has participated in SIPs or whatever, and you get a much more refined, let's say, top 5 or top 3 list of candidates. Now, of course, at the end, you have to talk with these people, right? But it makes it a lot easier to hire as well, etc. I mean, long list.
One interesting point for us, because artificial intelligence is a very, very new opportunity for many companies, is how you are describing what you do, but how did you arrive to this? Did you select one supplier? Did you develop internally system integration capability? Do you have people with, let's say, system integration skills that help to make a system that is your system, and has been your system is for you a competitive advantage compared with other companies. How are you implementing all these good tools?
So AI is I mean it's like it's like a wave that is coming and growing. I mean, it's very new. I mean, 3 years ago, it was almost like funny. I mean, now it's really a part of the daily process. I have to say, we're lucky in that sense. We have a very strong IT department. As I said, we are an online company, so all our sales are online, so our website, etc. We have a very good IT team. But I mean, again, different companies have different philosophies. So, for example, I have friends where this IT is very restricted and only approved tools. I mean, a number of rules are set there. For us, it's more open. So basically, what they have done is they have made a number of tools available, and they let people choose to use it or not use it, because AI is also one of those things. Some people hate it, and some people love it. So we have in that sense, I mean, similar to procurement being decentralized and optional, IT is also in a way decentralized and optional, right? So we have tools, and people can use it or not use it. The reality is that I see that some people use it more than others, but those people are really advancing very fast. They're delivering much better results. They're growing. So I think, Paolo, I don't know if I answered completely your question. I'm trying, but I think AI is something that everybody has to learn, sooner than later, because it's coming and it's gonna kill a lot of jobs, and it's going to transform most jobs. They're going to be different. I mean, there is a lot of things we're doing now that we will not need to do anymore, but there is a lot of things. I mean, we're going to have a lot of time to do things that we cannot do now because we don't have time or the tools to make it, right? So I think if somebody opposes AI, or even a company opposes AI, or is not yet using it, or at least investing to learn what this is, this company should hurry. That's my conclusion.
Yes, and if I understood correctly, let's say you, as an expert in procurement, give to your IT department some inputs. They open different opportunity, different service, integrating package already available in the market, and your people can use or not. And as far as you try to train your people to use them, and you see that they prefer one tool, then this tool will become, let's say, the most used and the fashionable tool of AI internally. Is it correct? You didn't make an analysis of your process and you went to a big system integrator to make a big project. You just try to give really to your people the opportunity to try and learn, and after that you decide in which direction you want to drive your IT department. Is it correct? Huh?
Yeah, it comes from both sides. So the ideas, the IT department can propose tools, but we can also propose tools. I mean, procurement or finance or HR, we can also propose tools. So when we find a tool that we think is interesting, what we do is we sit down with our IT and we discuss. They evaluate if this is safe, and because of course it's very. I mean, especially with AI. I mean, you're opening your heart. You're showing all your company, financials, all your strategy documents, everything. So it is very important. This is the most important part, I think, with AI. You really need to have licenses that are safe. I mean, there is hundreds of AI tools. I mean, they're very cheap ones, but be careful, because you are sharing all your secrets, right? So you really need to go with there is a relatively, a more reduced number of companies that you can trust. And I mean, my recommendation would be choose them. They're usually a bit more expensive, but go with companies that you trust, because you're sharing all your secrets. I'll give you an example. I think you and I, Paolo, were talking about this a couple of days ago. So we have a database with our contracts. So every time we sign a contract somewhere in the company, this contract goes in the database. I think most of you probably have it. I mean, 10 years ago, everybody had it in a hard drive, right? And then when the buyer left, nobody knew where the contract was. Now we have database with contracts, but this database is we're not happy with it anymore. It's very slow. It's difficult to find things. Sometimes contracts are duplicated, a lot of things. So we have identified a new tool, and we're going to use AI, or we are using AI, to move all the contracts from the old system to the new system. So AI is really, talking with the two systems, and essentially what it's doing is looking what contracts. I mean, we're talking about around 8,000 contracts.
How many?
8,000.
Okay.
8,000. But in the old system, so these 8,000 contracts, I mean, many of them, so all these contracts are there. So some of these 8,000 is the same company that was, the contract between 2015 and 2020, and then 2020 to 2025. So some contracts are old, but all these contracts are still there. So AI is going through all these contracts, analyzing which ones are valid, which ones are being used, and populating, let's say, mapping these contracts in a way that they can be uploaded into the new system that is much more user-friendly to find information, etc., but also giving us information on what spend is not on the contract. We have a again relatively open mind about this. We don't say 100% of our spend needs to be on contract. I mean, we can buy stuff that is not on a contract, but then what is that? How risky is this? Because, for example, if it's products or services that could entail intellectual property or other things, then they need to be in contract. So AI is analyzing all the spend, all the contracts, and checking, which ones are valid, which ones, I mean, mapping them in the correct way. This is logistics, this is raw materials, etc. I mean, a bit more complicated than that, of course, with many sub-levels, which countries they are valid, etc. And it's uploading it into the new system. So this is a process. If you had put a person to do this, you would need 10 people for 6 months, and AI is going to do it in, we haven't started because we are still, we're still defining exactly what we want. But when we press the button, it's going to be a day or two. I mean, it's going to be very fast.
Incredible. And in a certain sense, AI help you in the digital change of one of your big database, which can be really very, very complicated. Thank you. Last question I would like to put.
But Paolo, I mean, on this, I think a good example, right? So because I think this is maybe, I don't know if some of you are working in IT companies or online companies, but we all go to the website. I'll use Amazon again. You go to the website to Amazon. I mean, these websites, they are not written by programmers anymore. There are no people programming this. You go and you tell to AI, you said, I want a website that has pictures, that has so-and-so, and the price is changed, and it writes the software. The programmers are people that think and talk. There is no software writing anymore.
Yes, it's very important, my last question, because it's a question about competencies, no? You really are advanced in this aspect. So for some company, this is can be, let's say, a challenge in the future. You already are in this, and you can really give a perspective about the key competence in 3 years for a procurement professional. Is very easy. What I'm going to ask you: what are the 3 characteristics you look when you are a young, let's say, somebody between less than 30 years old in your organization in procurement? What are the 3 more important things you want to have and you check in the last interview, personal interview? What is your criteria for selection, a new member of your team?
Well, I'm going to say I'm going to answer first that don't take it the wrong way. I mean, we never make, I mean, one criteria is never age. So age is not relevant. I think desire, so enthusiasm, desire to learn, desire to grow and know more. I think there is I mean, so essentially the way okay, I got a message here that the meeting was being recorded, but I know this. I mean, when we hire, I'm going to give you a bit of a long-winded answer, but I think it's important and useful probably for you if you're hiring people. So when we have an open position, we analyze all the CVs, and the top three, top four, we ask them to resolve a case at home. So we give them a complicated case. It's 10 pages of case, complicated, and we ask them to resolve it, and then they have to come and present the solution. And usually, not usually, the case has questions that cannot be resolved. So it's also about or that the solution of one question makes the other question impossible, right? So there is this case is a case that has not a single solution, and also, you know, it's really to force this person to try to, you know, to think what he or she gives more weight or you know more value, etc. So that is what we do. And then when this person comes back to present the case, we usually have a panel of 4 or 5 people. People from procurement, people from the businesses, and there is a conversation and asking questions. And then you see if they can resolve this case or they can't resolve the case. So for me, let's say one minimum requirement is that they of course it's a procurement case, right? So that they have the procurement understanding to resolve a very difficult case that does not have a single solution. Second is, so now I'm answering your question, Paolo, took a while. Second is that because there is this panel is not only procurement people, that the people on the panel say, okay, I like this person. It's you know, he looks intelligent. He looks, you know, he knows what he's talking about. He's secure of himself. I think I can work with him. He can work with me. So this is the personal connection is very important there.
Empathy, let's say empathy between the steering committee or the selection committee, which at the end are going to be also your stakeholder, no? Because you look at
Exactly.
people coming from other function as well. So the
And
second
because
point,
and because it's not mandatory. So you know, if I have somebody in my team that they don't like, I mean, this person is never going to get the job, you know, never going to get a project. So
yeah, definitely. So this is empathy is the second point, and the third point.
well, as I said, I mean, this is more related to where I started, which is the desire to grow. I mean, the questions that we ask is, you know, where do you see yourself? You know, what do you, similar to what you have been asking me today, you know, what do you think of technology? You know, what are you going to do if so and so happens? So it's somebody I mean, this job, procurement, like I think most jobs is changing very fast. And if somebody thinks that he has a job, you know, forever being the way we are today, forget it. I mean, if we continue to be like we are today, no matter how smart we are, in 5 years, I mean, we will be eaten up by the wave. Huh? This is we have to evolve. Now, the good news is everybody will have this problem, so it's not like, you know, we don't need to be scared. We just need to be aware.
So the idea is also to look at the possibility adaptability of a person, let's say resilience to external changes, because we are really exposed now to a context, external context, not only from technology, also from other aspects, changing very quickly. And you want somebody who take the change as a standard factor of his professional life. No, these are the 3 aspects. Interesting, very interesting.